So Spain is famously known for their empanadas, especially the ones from the region of Galicia, where the world's first empanada was born. Anyways, here on Spain on Fork, we've done a ton of different empanadas. However, the one we are making today is the most classic one that hails from Spain. We're talking una empanada gallega de atún. This is basically a Spanish tuna pie or Spanish tuna empanada. And let me tell you, it's got so many great flavors to it. It is so easy to make at home, and it's made with very simple ingredients, folks. This is the kind of dish that when you take that first bite, it truly is the most rewarding experience ever. Let's begin by making our empanada dough. I'm going to add in 2 cups of all-purpose flour into a large bowl. This is about 240 grams. We'll also add in half a teaspoon of fine sea salt, which is 3 grams, and mix the dry ingredients together. Then we'll make a well in the bowl. Add in a 1/4 cup of extra virgin olive oil, which is 60 milliliters, and a generous 1/2 cup of cold water, which is about 125 milliliters. And we'll start mixing all these ingredients together until we start forming a dough. Once all the ingredients have came together and you have the consistency of a dough, get in there with your hands and continue to mix this together. That way all the ingredients are well mixed. And then you want to knead the dough inside of the bowl just between 1 to 2 minutes. This is going to help develop some of the gluten strands in the flour, which gives this quick dough an incredible texture and flavor. Then we'll shape the dough into the form of a ball. Place it in the bowl and cover it with a dishcloth. For the next step of the recipe, let's start making our filling. We're going to begin by making some hard-boiled eggs. I'm going to add in 3 eggs into a saucepan. Filling it with some cold water. You want to go to about 1 inch above the eggs, which is about 2.5 centimeters. And we'll heat it with a high heat. While the water's heating up, I'm going to add 5 cans of tuna in olive oil into a sieve with a bowl underneath. The size of each can is 80 grams, which is about 3 ounces. And we'll give the tuna a quick mix just to release any of the excess oil, but you don't want to overmix it, otherwise the tuna is going to dry up. And also, you want to reserve the olive oil that's left over from the canned tuna, as we're going to use it to fry up our vegetables. For the next step, I'm going to heat a fry pan with a medium-high heat and add in 3 tablespoons of the reserved olive oil from the canned tuna, which is about 45 milliliters. After heating the olive oil for about 1 minute on a medium-high heat, I'm going to add in 1 onion that I roughly diced, and half of a red bell pepper and half of a green bell pepper that have been finely chopped. And start mixing the ingredients around with that olive oil. We are on a medium-high heat here, so make sure to mix this continuously. That way the veggies don't burn and they all evenly saute. After about 5 minutes, and the onion and the bell pepper are developing a light golden fried color, you don't want to brown them too much. I'm going to add in a generous 1/2 teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika. This is about 1.25 grams. We'll give this a quick mix. That way that paprika is coating all the vegetables. And like I always tell you, when you add in paprika into a hot pan, you want to mix it in there quickly, otherwise it easily gets a bitter flavor. Then we'll add in 1/2 cup of tomato sauce, which is 112 grams. The sauce I'm using, I made by finely grating tomatoes, but you can also use canned tomato sauce. We'll season everything with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give this a quick mix. That way all the ingredients are evenly mixed together, and we're going to simmer this for about 2 to 3 minutes or until that grated tomato has really thickened up. While the sauce is simmering, the water has began to boil in the saucepan with the eggs. For the next step, I'm going to place a lid on the saucepan and turn off the heat. And I'm going to let this sit here between 11 to 12 minutes. This is the exact time to get perfectly hard-boiled eggs. Now we'll move back to our vegetables. It's been about 3 minutes since we added the tomato sauce into the pan, and as you can see, it's really thickened up. I'm gonna turn off the heat in the pan, add in our drained canned tuna, and we'll give this a mix. That way all the ingredients are evenly mixed together, and then we'll set it aside. While our vegetables are cooling off, let's move back to the dough. I'm gonna sprinkle some all-purpose flour on a clean flat surface. Add the ball of dough on top. Cut it into 2 evenly sized pieces. And shape each piece into the form of a ball. And I'm gonna start rolling out one of the doughs. Now I'm not looking to make a circular design here, more of a rectangular one, and it doesn't have to be perfect. What's important here is once that dough is rolled out, the thickness of the dough, you want it to be about 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.30 centimeters. Once the dough's been rolled out, I'm gonna transfer it into a baking tray that's lined with parchment paper. Then I'm gonna grab our reserved tuna and vegetable mixture and start adding it on top of the dough. You wanna make sure that the mixture is in a single flat layer, and also you wanna leave a border in the outside of dough that's about 1 inch, which is 2.5 centimeters. Then we'll add in our hard-boiled eggs. I cut the eggs into 1/4 inch rounds, which is about 1/2 centimeter. Then we'll start rolling out our second dough. Once again, we're looking for a rectangular design with a thickness of 1/8 of an inch, which is 0.30 centimeters. Once the dough's been rolled out, I'm gonna cut off a little bit from the dough. You want this one to be a little bit smaller. That way when you place it over the tuna mixture, you can grab the dough in the bottom and fold it over this one. We'll add the dough over the tuna mixture and start folding the bottom dough over the top one and pinching the outer layers to ensure that the empanada is well sealed. I'm gonna grab some of the leftover dough, cut it into thin strips, and then I'm gonna twist the pieces of dough and place it over the empanada. This is optional, but it gives it a beautiful design at the end. Then we'll gently pierce the top of the empanada with a fork. And we'll brush in some whisked eggs over the empanada. This is what gives it that classic golden texture. And for the final step, let's bake our empanada. I'm gonna add it into a preheated oven. I've had mine preheating for about 20 minutes. Bake and broil option, that's the bottom and top heat, 190 degrees Celsius, which is 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Now if your oven can't do both functions at the same time, no big deal. Just bake your empanada for an extra 5 to 10 minutes longer than I'm baking mine, or until the top of that dough has reached a beautiful golden baked color. After about 25 to 30 minutes, this empanada should be perfectly cooked. I'm gonna remove it from the oven. And check it out, our Empanada Gallega de Atun is done, a beautiful Spanish tuna empanada that hails from the region of Galicia. You can serve this warm, at room temperature, or even cold. Either way, it's gonna be absolutely delicious. Let's cut into it, see what it looks like inside, and then give it a try. Seriously, when it comes to empanadas, I don't think it can get better than this. Here we go. Absolutely delicious. The dough is perfectly cooked through, And then the interior, that tin tuna with the vegetables, the hard-boiled eggs, and that little bit of sweet smoked Spanish pepper. It is a mind-blowing experience. You saw this, a classic Spanish empanada from the region of Galicia. Very easy to make at home, very simple ingredients. Try it and I guarantee it's gonna instantly transport you to beautiful España. Really quick before I go, a shout out to a couple of my patrons, Clarence Bolin, Karsten Korn, and Martin Giddens. Again guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. It's thanks to you and the rest of my patrons why Spain on a Fork continues to drive forward. If you're not a patron, consider becoming one. It really helps me with ingredients and equipment to continue making videos like this. You'll find my Patreon link in the description box below and iCard above. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, you know what to do. Smash that subscribe button. Till the next time, hasta luego.